what my only crime was being happy. That's all I did. I hate you.
Holy shit, Danny.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Market Down Podcast. My name is Nick Cummings, joined this week by Danny Hernandez, back here once again to review another episode of AEW Dynamite. Obviously, the follow-up to Forbidden Door, which I absolutely loved. Danny, I don't know how you felt about it. If you want to give an opinion real quick, since you weren't on the live after the pay-per-view.
Oh my god, it was fucking amazing. What do you guys? First of all, shut up about a rematch between Danielson and Okada. Okay, James is right. We're taking our win. We're going home. I never want to see it again. In fact, Brian, retire now, buddy. Don't let him take it from you. Okay, we don't want any more of that. It was fantastic. Ospreay and Omega, probably going to be match of the year. I don't see any match topping that this year. Fatal 4-Way was fucking awesome. 10-man tag was great. Everything else was fine. But like those matches, those are the matches to see from that show. Those four right there.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to throw a fifth one in, I would throw in the Elite versus the Combo Blackpool Combat.
That was the match also. That was the 10-man.
My bad. But speaking of, our first match this evening was Jon Moxley versus Tomohiro Ishii in essentially a rematch of that 10-man tag / rematch of their G1 match. I think it was last year, and this was good. This was hard hitting. They literally just spent the first 5 minutes slapping each other in the chest. I see JL and Hardcore Casual all in the chat already. What's going on, everyone? Good to see you guys. And then about 5 minutes into the match, Eddie came out to drive back both Claudio and Wheeler Yuta as they were standing over Ishii, grabbing a chair to do so. And then after just like killing each other for 15 minutes, Moxley counters an Ishii lariat with a paradigm shift, but Ishii's able to kick out. He then recovers and lands a paradigm shift of his own, plus a nasty lariat off the ropes. Moxley's able to kick out of that. Ishii then goes for the brain buster, but Mox is able to counter it with a Death Rider. He's unfortunately unable to make a very quick cover, so Ishii's able to kick out of that. Mox then followed up with a vicious stomp and another Death Rider, and he was able to pick up the win. After the match, Moxley walked past Eddie and up the ramp, and as he did so, he bumped Eddie's shoulder, and Eddie responds by sarcastically applauding him, yelling, "Good for you, you did it by yourself," and that he didn't need the Blackpool Combat Club to get this win. But Danny, like I said, just a violent, hard-hitting match. I know at least Moxley got busted open hard way. I think Ishii did as well, probably when they were fucking headbutting each other for like 3 minutes. I mean, this was just, damn, man, this was, I'm trying to think of a better word than hard hitting, but this was just a war of attrition.
I went through like, not a roller coaster, maybe like a kiddie coaster of emotions during this match. Because like at first I was like, oh, why is this happening? The dude just got the pin at the pay-per-view, and now you're going to pin him? Like, what was the point then? But then I was like, oh, this is getting good, though, so okay. And then I was like, oh, why isn't Orange Cassidy open in Dynamite? But then I was like, oh, man, this is getting real good. And they started headbutting each other, and I was like, oh, I don't like that, but it's intense. Like, I don't like watching people headbutt each other anymore. Like, sorry, it's kind of fucked up a lot of people's lives. And they don't look good. But they hurt. So like that's the worst combination of things you can possibly do. But this got real good again at the end. And that was just a fun match to open the show. But I'm way, way more invested in all the story beats around it involving Mox and Eddie Kingston. I liked Eddie's whole, character motivation of being out here. One, he hates Claudio, and that's so consistent. Two, he was stopping them from interfering, but also not interfering so that Mox could win on his own, which was part of the point he was trying to prove. But I loved how Eddie and Claudio were just staring at each other from across the ring, and they kept cutting to them on the camera. It was so good, and I guess we'll talk more about the story of this with the segment that comes a little later. But different way to open open the show. Exactly, JL. This dude is fucking CTE bound at this rate, bro. You do not need to headbutt people, bro. Like it's the worst combination of actually bad for you and doesn't look, because like you're doing it so light. But like if you've ever bumped your head into something, it doesn't matter how light it is. Sometimes it hurts like fucking hell if it hits you the right way. So when you're headbutting someone, you're doing it so light, but it's still doing damage. So it is a worst combination of things. Except for that one time Brian and Ziggler were headbutting each other on top of the ladder. That was fucking badass. Still shouldn't have done it, but like it looked really badass. But yeah, fun match to open the show. But good story beats to this, which is the more exciting part than the match itself.
Yeah, I love the story beats. I love the physicality. The headbutts, I understand. I like more when the headbutts are more like they grab the guy and more like pretend to do it. You know, just because it's safer. It was cool because it was these two guys, you know, headbutting each other like that. But I understand why A, it doesn't look good, and B, yeah, it's just fucking like it leads to things like CTE, repeated hits to the head. It's just we don't want to see that anymore in terms of, you know, people getting injured that way. So especially with Ishii, because he's got a fucking hard ass head, or at least he looks like he does. So I love this match. I thought it was a great opener. Moxley and Ishii put on bangers every time they wrestled. So I was thrilled. With this match. Great opener. Okay. After that, we had a backstage interview with Adam Cole and MJF. Renee was actually there to meet Cole as he came into the building, and they all said hi. And then a car just starts speeding into the parking lot, stops short, like right in front of them. It almost hits them. And MJF gets out of the car. And he's like, Cole, what up? He just gleefully greets Cole, tells him that it was a brilliant idea to get sick to miss Forbidden Door. To which Cole's like, dude, I was actually fucking sick. And Max is like, still, I should have thought of that. Damn. He says then that even though Cole isn't good enough to beat him for the title, which isn't his fault, nobody is, they could win the tag team titles and then run AEW together. So Max invites Cole to hang out with him for the weekend so they can get to know each other. Cole reluctantly agrees, much to the delight of MJF, who then shows him the new T-shirt he had made up for their tag team, which was pretty cool. There was a quick QTV promo towards the end of the show, Jay, but no Ethan Page then, unfortunately. But Danny, you were just saying before, you love this promo. I did too. All the interactions between Cole and MJF tonight were great.
I loved this so much. MJF is just so perfect sometimes, man. Like he is just putting it on like so thick, and he knows it. So he's almost affable with like how sincerely disingenuous he is, because he knows it and he knows everyone knows it, but he still does it earnestly. So it's just so. It's so fun to watch, and I get such a kick out of it. And Cole's a smart babyface relatively, so he's not falling for it. He's like, he knows what he's doing. He's like, I've probably done something like this before myself. But I love the dynamic of it. I love that MJF is, instead of being reluctant about having a team with Cole in the blind eliminator, he's using it as an opportunity to get out of having to ever fight Cole again. And it's like basic heel work, but he does it. He has these nice over-the-top touches to it that make it so much better than your run-of-the-mill can they coexist storyline, which I don't want to take too many stray jobs here, but like, you know, we've been conditioned in the past few years to hate the idea of a can they coexist tag match. But the truth is, can they coexist has always been good. It's been a good like story. It's been a good one-night story. It's been a good multi-week story. It is a good premise. It's just been done poorly and to death in the past few years. But when it's done well, you know, we get instances like Team Hell No, and we get instances like this where I think this is going to be really, really good. So I loved this. I can't wait to get like the Vegas video montage like he did with the Inner Circle, but like with Adam Cole. I can't wait. I cannot wait for that. I loved the line about, oh my God, that is so smart, man. Like it's MJF because he's like, oh, that's what you were thinking. Like that's what I should have thought of, because he does look up to Cole, and that's So I'm like, I should have thought of being second, so I wouldn't have to do this show. It was so good. I love this.
Yeah, I'm very interested to watch the dynamic of Cole trying to learn about MJF to try to probably further piss him off and goad him into another match. So after as the tournament finishes and he hopefully gets another shot at the belt. So it's going to be a lot of fun. The funny thing for me is when MJF is doing this aspect of his character where he's happy and he's either pretending to be friends with somebody or he actually is, which is very rare. He's usually just faking it. He's so good at it, but at the same time, like it scares the shit out of me. You know what I mean? Kind of like when Undertaker would smile, everybody would get concerned because they just know that whoever he's smiling at fucked up. It's kind of like the same thing where it's like MJF is always so angry and upset and just like pissed off at the world that when he's happy and excited like this, it's so like unnerving. and I love it.
I think one of the most brilliant parts about it is I genuinely believe he wants Adam Cole to be his friend because MJF is a quote unquote loner, but we all know how insecure he is, and we all know that he wants the admiration from people. He wants the respect of the people he's gone to war with and said horrible, despicable things about. He wants their respect. He wanted Punk's respect. He wanted Punk to like him. He wants Cole to like him. He wanted Jericho to like him. He was friends with Cody, and he still is because that's his in. But he truly wants it. So it's not as disingenuous as it is. There's part of it that he hopes it actually does work out. Like he's saying, "Oh, we're gonna be tag champs. I got us a shirt already." But like he genuinely wants that, not just to be a champion for the actual money out relation, but because that's something you have to have someone that likes you. You can't be a tag champ. In theory, you can't be a tag champ with someone who doesn't like you. So he deep down, he really, really wants that. And that's what I think is going to make this so good. If this is a summer long thing, I am all here for it. If we get this until All In, like, fuck yeah, I'm on board.
Yeah, and I think that's probably what we're going to get. Maybe even all the way to All Out. Just to see what happens, because I feel like that makes a little more sense. I don't know when this blind eliminator, I don't know when that tournament ends, but yeah. Also, Jay, I love QT Marshall. I love QTV. It's a bold statement. It's a very bold statement.
Yeah, he's no Braun Breaker. He's not the Braun Breaker of AEW. He is. He looks like he hangs out in a cigar shop in a bowling alley, which is like fine, but like, maybe not top guy. No, CM Junk is not on Dynamite. He is a Collision guy. He just works Saturdays now, which is like the raw end of the deal, man. You're having to work weekends now. You have one tantrum at work and you got to work weekends now. That seems unfair, but yeah, there we go. Why isn't Braun Breaker on the main roster, Jay? We'll save that for Monday. When we're talking on Monday, we'll be like, why isn't Braun Breaker here? Like, why is he still down in NXT, But anyway, sorry,
I saw Hayes came up. His match looked pretty good. So, I mean, I think they're going to start bringing, Hayes up a little bit and Breaker up and have them go back and forth for a little while. So, you'll probably be seeing him more on Raw or SmackDown. That'll be cool. Anyway, back to AEW Dynamite following Cole and MJF's interaction. We had a video package for Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay at Forbidden Door. It was footage taken from after Will got his victory over Kenny and won the IWGP United States Championship. As we said on Sunday night, that was an absolute banger of a match. It was great. Kenny gave Will a lot of respect in the promo that they had recorded, saying that even though Dom was involved, Will was the better man. But he did make hints to the fact that this wasn't over. And Will also made hint to the fact that he knows a place for the rematch, which leads me to believe that they're going to fight in Wembley. But we shall
I think
see.
so.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck it. Do it,
Yeah, I think they should absolutely do it because I think this needs a third match, like this trilogy. And I thought Kenny was going to retain and then Will would win in London. But
really?
Yeah, I thought Will was going to get the title win in London and finally overcome Kenny in his hometown, but I was wrong, obviously. But Will defeating Kenny and cementing himself as the top, gaijin in New Japan is also a pretty good story too. So I'm cool. I'm cool with it. There's obviously a very good story to tell there. All right. After that, we quickly shot backstage where Renee Paquette and John Moxley were going at it, screaming at each other over everything that's going on with Eddie. Renee's pissed at him. She just needs it to stop. And then Eddie rolls up, and him and Moxley start screaming at each other with Renee yelling at both of them to stop it, and they're just ignoring her. Mox at one point says, "Who cares about some Shakira BS? It was 10 years ago," to Eddie, trying to get him to let go of all this shit with Claudio. Honestly, this was just chaotic, and I could barely hear anything that was said. Eddie is still clearly mad that Mox is hanging out with Claudio. Eventually, Moxley just walks away, and Eddie's just still continuing to yell at him, "Oh, yeah, walk away. Of course, that's what you're going to do." And Renee just gets Eddie to shut up, and she goes, "You need to fix this because I am done." And then she goes to follow Moxley. It was a short segment, but I loved Renee getting involved here. It was
I did funny. Too. I did too. And the whole time, every time you look at Claudio and Wheeler, they have the smuggest fucking smile on their face. They are loving the chaos because they know the louder it gets, the angrier people get, the worse it's going to be for Eddie. But they're fine. They don't have to sweat. If tensions are high, people are yelling. That works in their favor. So they just have the smuggest look. And then, I like Renee getting involved here. It makes you feel more like a lot of, more like a living, breathing character, and not just, the typical robotic backstage interviewer, which AEW tries to stay away from for the most part. But, it's moments like this that make her feel like more than just a person that's there to ask one question and then disappear when the person takes the mic from them.
Yeah, it was really good. I hope she doesn't get too involved, honestly. I do like the fact that they're separated, but it's something like this where she knows, Mox is friends with Eddie, and she doesn't want, the two of them fighting. So she got involved, which happens on occasion. And I do like the fact that that Claudio and Wheeler are in the back. They were like the kids watching their parents fight and then just kind of laughing in the background,
I feel like that's not what kids do when their parents fight. But I think that explains a lot about you, man. But I just got it real quick with Jay. I'm going to say Claudio's the second best member. It's Brian, Claudio, Mox, and Yuta, like a distant fourth. No offense, Yuta. It's just, no, I can't compare yet, But yeah, maybe, it's debatable in ring, but I still go Brian all the way. As the best overall person in the group.
I think calling Mox and Brian cheap, as JL put it, is a bold statement as well. But I think the nice thing about the BCC is, I guess, outside of Wheeler, who everybody, I think most people like, but understand, he's the fourth guy in the group. You can have your favorite between Mox, Claudio, and Brian, and I don't think anybody's really going to push back on you too hard.
Yeah, they're all relatively beloved wrestlers, so any one of them's your favorite, it's kind of reasonable. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jay, you're usually pretty bold. You're really bold tonight.
No, and this is what we expect from you, Jay. This is what you're here for. We're all for it. We're just sometimes we're gonna agree with you. Sometimes we're gonna just push back a little bit. It's all up for debate. It's all discussion. That's why we're here. We're just giving opinions the same way you're giving an opinion.
Just a straight up hot take artist in the comment section. I love it. After this, we had Orange Cassidy, El Hijo del Vikingo, and Keith Lee against the Jericho Appreciation Society members of Daniel Garcia, Daddy Magic Matt Menard, and Cool Hand Angelo Parker. Don is in the number one spot. Technically, he's not in the BCC, but fair. I like this match. It was a lot of fun. There was a great sequence in the beginning between Orange and Parker and Cool Hand Ange's comb, with Orange taking his brand new comb, and then Garcia coming in and fighting Orange for it and then throwing it, and then Parker dropping it, which was hilarious. The match ended with Vikingo breaking up a Dragon Tamer on Orange and then getting launched out of the ring by Parker. Parker himself then got taken out with an orange punch. Orange then tagged in Lee because he's just dying at this point and has no energy left. He's so tired. And Lee powered through a barrage of offense from Daddy Magic to eventually get the win. Danny, good match, like nothing insane. Vikingo obviously is always great. Orange, a lot of good character work, as he continues to just be exhausted. And Keith Lee got a win, which was nice. And he looks great. He shaved. I think he dyed his hair a little bit. He looks really good. So hopefully everybody can stop complaining about that. But just a solid all-around good match for the most part.
Yeah, it was good. Nothing crazy. I liked Cassidy with the comb. I liked on commentary that pointed out, well, he's had so many pairs of glasses broken that he has respect for someone who brings a prop with them to the ring. And I don't know how you guys feel about Daniel Garcia and his stupid little dance. But like, yeah, I think it's growing on everyone after the pay-per-view. I liked when Keith Lee kicked him in the gut and he tried to do it, but he was in too much pain. And then he stood on top of his back and did it. Like, that was funny. I think he's going to quickly drive it into the ground, though. Like, I'm saying this week, I thought it was funny. I guarantee 2 weeks from now, I will be sick of it because we will have done it 5 times. And I'll probably only be on TV once. But other than that, it was good to see Keith Lee. I thought the finish was a little weird. Like, why was Matt Menard fighting off Keith Lee's finisher for so long? Like, that, I didn't get that. But
I have a theory. I hope this isn't true, but I think Lee might have been knocked a little silly on that spot where it looked like he was supposed to catch Vikingo and then use him as a weapon, and instead he didn't catch him clean and they ended up colliding. I think he took Vikingo's face to his head, or it's his face to his head, his foot to his head. And I think he got knocked a little loopy there because you can kind of tell when he was getting up and trying to finish the spot because he still grabbed Vikingo and swung around again as a weapon. She was trying to shake it off. So I hope he's okay, but he definitely seemed like he was a little bit out of it after that spot. And it was weird. Like, there was a couple of chemistry issues besides that in this match too. You could see it with, weirdly enough, 2.0. Like, they just seemed a little bit off as well. So, like, I enjoyed the match. Like, I don't think it took away from it, but there are a couple of weird points in this match where the chemistry was just off between everyone.
Yeah. I think JL just roasted the shit out of Garcia with this comment. And oh boy, like, I didn't take Garcia that seriously, but I don't think I ever will now after that. But yeah, it is what it is. Hopefully Keith is okay, but it was just nice to see him on TV.
Yeah. And like I said, he's gone back, obviously, like I said, to no beard, and I think he dyed his hair a little bit. I liked the gray hair, but apparently so many people thought it looked bad. I guess they bullied him back into going no beard and dyeing the hair again.
Oh, those people are dumb.
He does look good, though, so I don't care what he does with his hair. He looks good all the time, so fuck those people. After this, we went backstage with the Hung Bucks, where they were attempting to dish out an open challenge for a trios match when they were interrupted by the Dark Order. Matt Jackson tries to power through them, but they're like, no, we're here to answer the challenge. Heyman doesn't believe them, thinking they want to join the match, saying, yeah, we could do a 12-man tag. And the Dark Order's like, no, dude, we're fighting you. We're super pissed off at you because you've abandoned us for the Young Bucks. So we're fighting you. It's over. And they feel like Hangman abandoned them. And Hangman tried to reason with them, being like, they needed help with the BCC, and I went to help them, and like, I didn't mean to abandon you. Like, I didn't think I was your babysitters, which just pissed Uno the fuck off. But this led to the match we'll talk about in a minute. You can tell the emotions, how high they were running here, and it led to a very emotional match later in the show.
Yeah, it was a really good segment, and criticism of how they've just botched the fuck out of the Dark Order over the past, I don't know, year and a half now at this point. But yeah, like, so it is tough to care at this point, but like, this was a good segment, and it's just always nice to see John Silver on TV and his little friends too. But what? I mean, the group is falling apart here, but John Silver's like the biggest fucking botch, I think. One of the biggest botches in AEW history.
Just in terms of misuse?
Yeah, like, dude got ridiculously over and nothing ever came of it. Like, fucking nothing.
That's fair.
So, but like, the segment's good. It's just, I can't blame anyone for not caring.
Yeah, I mean, I think for those of us who watch BTE, that Dark Order is on there enough and this story is being told over there a lot that I think you care more. Like, I was really invested in this because I'm really invested in what happens with the Dark Order and Hangman. And, you know, we've seen this play out a little bit on TV, but not enough to where somebody who only watches Dynamite would care, like, you know, like you said. So it does kind of suck that we haven't gotten the full story on TV. I know BTE has always kind of been like this supplemental thing in terms of storylines involving, you know, the Elite as a whole, but more specifically Hangman and then the Dark Order when they joined up with him. So I was super invested in this. I'm super invested in the storyline as a whole. I'm curious to see what happens on BTE next week, just from this interaction and from the match later. So
I'm not gonna lie to you. Well, one, I don't think I don't even think, like, even if it's on BTE still, it's not the same as it was when it was on both BT and TV. Like, because BT is what got the Dark Order over, but not like sustaining that on TV is why we're in this position now. Like, you can't just keep doing it there and expect to get the same results. But also, as I haven't watched BT since like Brawl Out pretty much. You know, it's just hard after what, you know, a bunch of guys jump one innocent guy who definitely didn't do anything wrong. You know, it's hard to care, you know. But that's also not the same without James here because there's no one to get pissed off about it. But
I just roll my eyes at this point. Like, I'm so done with all of that nonsense. Everyone's back. Everyone's on TV. Stop. Not necessarily you stop, but just generally everyone.
Yeah. Well, when Punk is on another episode of being the Elite or BT, like, then we can, you know, truly stop. But until then.
Yeah. All right, I guess that's fair. We then went to commercial and came back to a backstage promo with Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara, who basically just stood there the entire time and I think quietly said yeah at one point. But basically, they're facing Sting and Darby in a tornado tag in the main event. So Renee asks about, you know, his interaction with Sting and everything that happened at the press conference after his loss at Forbidden Door, where Jericho went in and challenged them to this tornado tag during the press conference. Even self-pitched a water bottle and hit it, and I think hit a reporter with the bottle. So
wait, real quick, just to go back to that. The funny is what got them over. Like, even when Brody got there, like, their BT skits were all comedy. Like, they were funny.
Papers.
It's just on TV, like, it was a little more serious. And, like, Brody squashing Cody is what really, like, got them taken seriously. But the comedy and the tragic past Brody Lee is, like, what got them fucking, like, over like crazy, though. That's what got John Silver specifically over, was the comedy. It's just the lack of follow-up. And then because of the comedy and them being over, it made them affable and sincere, almost like the opposite of what MJF was being insincere. So that's what made the Hangman stuff work, because if they were just a regular serious group and they had that relationship with Hangman, does not work. It's them being goofy, them being silly to, like, lift Hangman's low fucking spirits that make that work. Otherwise, none of that works.
Yeah.
But, like, there was, you know, but that's whatever. Like, that's a small thing. So anyway, why it wasn't Sammy supposed to be turning face? Why is he just fine with Jericho now? Didn't they have tension like 2 weeks ago?
I mean, yeah, it's weird, but just to go to the promo really quick, Jericho says that him and Sting facing off on TBS with Tony Schiavone on commentary is only right, and that's the way it should have been all of those years ago, making reference to WCW, obviously. He then says that Sting wanted more time with Jericho, so Jericho is going to give it to him, but he's going to get the dark and dirty side of Jericho being the Painmaker. As for your question, Danny, I guess we're going to talk about it more later, I think, when we talk about the finish of the match, but I thought that this was going to be the lead-in towards this breakup. Now, I don't know. We'll see. But let's circle back to that when we get to the match, because it kind of goes into the way the match ended for me. After that, we then had the Young Bucks against the Dark Order. We finally got there. Very emotional match, as I was saying before. Heyman pretty much avoided tagging in at all and to avoid confrontation with the Dark Order, up until a point where he broke up a pin by Evil Uno. Uno then goads Hangman into fighting him by just absolutely slapping the shit out of him. So Hangman finally tags in and he gets involved, eventually ending up in a 3-on-1 situation where the Bucks get taken out on the outside. Hangman then just gets worked over by the Dark Order until the Bucks recover. They're able to interrupt the finisher for the Dark Order, take out Uno and Reynolds on the outside, allowing Hangman to set up for the buckshot on Silver. Silver, though, is able to counter, and then he starts getting the advantage until Hangman is able to counter whatever. I forget what he went for, but Hangman hits a dead eye is the point of that. The Bucks then come in and hit a BT trigger on Silver and then hold up Silver, and Hangman reluctantly hits the buckshot lariat for the win. After the match, Hangman immediately goes to check on Silver and see how he's doing, and as the Bucks and the other two members of the Dark Order come over, the BCC comes in from behind and start absolutely kicking the shit out of the Young Bucks and Hangman with chairs, and then Hangman gets stabbed in the head by Moxley with a screwdriver. The Dark Order, what's going on, John Blattner? The Dark Order just kind of stands there for a minute, and then they decide to leave with Uno yelling at Hangman that he chose his friends. So I forgot to mention Takeshita was also with with the BCC as well. So 4-on-3 advantage in the favor of the BCC. Obviously, Brian, not there, badly broke his arm. Very badly. If you haven't seen the x-ray, you should go see it. It's brutal. Anyway, Eddie then comes down to try to help the Bucks / just go after Claudio. Probably the latter. But, hey, what's up, James? You're as well. But Eddie was taken out by Wheeler. He gets put into an armbar by Wheeler, and then Claudio actually puts a chair over and sits on top of him to make the armbar even worse because Eddie can't get out of it. Eventually, Mox, who wasn't watching everything that happened to Eddie, which I thought was very interesting, he grabbed the microphone and he said that the Bucks and the Elite have pushed the BCC to the limit and vice versa, and they have to end this. So, blood and guts in Boston in a couple of weeks. Now, Dan, we all expected this to end in blood and guts, but the way they went about this, with the Dark Order seemingly turning their back completely on Hangman, a bloody Hangman who was reaching out to them, trying to get them to come help him, this whole emotional roller coaster here was absolutely brilliant.
It really, really was. But I just real quick little, if I could pick a nit real quick. When has blood and guts ever ended a feud? It hasn't. That's the answer. It is a continuation of a feud. In the case of the Blackpool Combat Club and the Jericho Appreciation Society, it was the beginning of a feud. But maybe this one will end, but you can't go based on history. But this was all really good. And what's weird? When we talk about the overall feelings of the show, I thought this was a boring show. And I was like, this was a skippable episode. But as we're talking about most of this, I'm like, oh, this was pretty good, though. This was really good. I loved the Dark Order didn't help them. And I loved that they weren't even that conflicted about it. That was a relatively easy decision for them to make because they feel betrayed by Hangman. And from their point of view, you could see why they are right. And if you think Hangman's right, if you think Hangman's just one guy and this group of 3 or 4 guys is bullying him and picking on him, that's totally acceptable. And maybe you could put Hangman on his own show on Saturdays or something because he's such a problem child backstage, But in all seriousness, you really can't blame the Dark Order for feeling the way they feel. And you can sort of not blame Hangman, but you can see why they might be right. Why, like, you're going back to the people who kind of abused you in the first place, or the people who mistreated you in the first place. I don't think they ever abused them. But, that's another fine line to walk, because I guess the Bucks were just telling him he was drinking too much, and that's a message I think I can get behind. Rev, you're drinking too much. But, yeah.
At least
so
this week.
It's a tricky line they're walking there, but this was cool. I like this. I don't know what's going to happen now that Brian's not a part of it. Like, what does that do for the Ibushi of it all? Like, how are you going to make up those numbers? Is it still going to be Ibushi? And then who's going to join with the BCC and Takeshita? Like, who is it going to be? Will Ospreay? Like, I'd be into that, but that seems a little weird. But is it going to be Don Callis himself? Dude's actually in good shape. Put him in the match. Fuck it. But I was into this. I like the match. I love. Hold on, we gotta put some. Yeah, dude, he really did no call, no show. I thought he was gonna be here. And what the fuck, dude? You just show up in the chat like halfway through the show, and that's right, halfway, because me and Rev are making time. We are efficient. We got this shit under lock until the Jungle Boy segment, where I'm gonna go off on a 15 fucking minute rant. But
no soliloquies without James here.
Like a true friend, Hangman was shocked they didn't bail him out. But I love watching Silver and Reynolds do their fucking hot tag together. It is so
one of the best
good.
In business.
It really, really is. I was talking to one of our chatters, Kevin, about this IRL. We did like a little meet and greet sort of deal, and I was like, it's got to be like them and Best Friends for the two tag teams. Like, it's just shocking that they never did more with, never won titles. Yeah. With Best Friends, it's because Trent can't stop getting fucking injured. But with the Beaver Boys, it's just a drop ball. But this is good. I'm excited.
I would put Evil Uno and Stu Grayson back in the beginning in that conversation as well. But obviously, Stu has been corrupted over on Ring of Honor. He's not in the Dark Order anymore. But I was always surprised they never did more with them either.
Well, I just think the early Dark Order was also a huge botch. So
yeah, up until Brody showed up, they took them to then. It took them until then to really find their footing. Yeah, but I mean, as you were saying with the emotions of whether or not Hangman is right or wrong from a certain point of view, on BTE, and this is why I'm so invested in this. There have been multiple times Hangman has actually tried to reconcile with the Dark Order. And somebody's run interference on him, even to the point where even -1 ran interference on him at one point, because Hangman went to go find him and he only found -1 there, and -1 didn't believe that he actually wanted to, try to patch things up, and Hangman actually kind of sold him on it, or at least he thought he did. And Hangman was like, "Look, just tell them I was looking for them. I do want to apologize. I do." Want to talk to them, and everyone was like, okay, yeah, sure. And then just didn't tell the Dark Order, just straight up lied to them about who he was talking to while they were all in the bathroom together, because that's something they do. So, he's been getting blocked. So it just adds to the story of who's right, who's wrong. No one is really right or wrong in this situation. Just things fell apart, just due to wild ass circumstances, due to the BCC getting involved and Hangman, having to take a stand with the Bucks and Kenny. So it's a really, really good storyline. And I've loved every second of it. Just like you said, I just kind of wish more of it was on TV so people could get stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right. We then once again went backstage to Adam Cole, who was waiting in the parking lot for MJF, who was late. And then Roderick Strong showed up and came over and said hi. And he was like, dude, you can't trust MJF, right? And Cole's like, yeah, of course I know that. I'm not actually going to be friends with him. I'm just playing along until all this bullshit ends and trying to learn some more stuff about him. And as he was saying that, what's his name?
Roddy?
MJF.
Okay.
No, MJF shows up and interrupts Roddy saying, don't you think he's going to watch this back and see it? And MJF's like, yo, guys, I'm bored. Let's get out of here. I'm not even wrestling. I never wrestle. Why am I even here? We should go. After calling Roddy generic white guy, which was really fucking
so
cool. MJF then hops in the car, and Cole's like, dude, MJF's never going to watch this show back. I wouldn't worry about it. And then Dazzler Brody wishes him luck in his Owen Hart tournament match against Samoa Joe, a match I'm really looking forward to, by the way, and then gets in the car with MJF. So another very brief segment with them, but hilarious.
I loved it so much. I can't. God, when he said that to Reddit, like, hey, what's up, generic? Like, dude, like, it was so funny.
Roddy was gonna kill him. He's like, no, I'm kidding, dude. I'm just kidding.
Looking jacked, man. Looking jacked. Like, I was like, yeah, let's go. Like, I know this is like a wrestling show. I don't want to be here, you know. Like, so let's get out of here, man. And then I loved it that he had you can only do this on TV with that type of framing where the guy is right there in the car, and you're just like, yeah, there's no way he's watching this back. Like, bro, cars aren't soundproof, you know. But like, that's the kind of shit where it's like, it's just fun TV logic. But I love that they actually took the time to explain, like, there's no way he'll see this because he's not watching this show back. And it's like, he's going to listen to a fan on Twitter that tells him that you said this, you know. It's like, yeah, it is actually well established in MJF's character. It's totally plausible that he would never find this out. Like, you could, you know how, like, when people cut promos, like Ruby coming later up to Bro, she's like, I know you're watching. You can't do that to MJF because he's not watching. You can't do it to Brock Lesnar. You can't do it to MJF. They're not watching.
Paul, I don't watch the show. Such a good line. Yeah, I mean, I loved it. It established so much stuff with Cole and MJF in like 30 seconds, and it's great. And like we were saying before, I'm so much looking forward to watching these two have to interact for a few weeks. It's going to be great. All right, after this, we had the Jungle Boy Jack Perry in-ring promo. I could go over it. I wrote notes. Danny, no, I'm just going to lay out. Go ahead.
Vindicated. Man, I'd like to thank my mom for giving birth to me. I'd like to thank the universe for making this world exist. I'd like you all to say thank you to me because I willed this into existence. This is 100% because of me. I started a revolution in all of wrestling. I am the reason that we are here right now where fucking Jabroni Boy is finally getting the treatment he deserves. And he came out, you're wearing a leather jacket just like his dad. No turtleneck yet, but give it a couple weeks. He'll be rocking that turtleneck. And he cut off the music because he's a little piece of shit. He doesn't want people enjoying his music, which is like an easy way to be heel in AEW because
we're never going to hear it again.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't care. That's fine. It was nice while it lasted, but like, you know.
I still get it at Met games when Canna comes up, but
there we go. But well, we'll see. We'll see after the trade deadline. But I'm just kidding. I don't think he's going anywhere. But fucking this little piece of shit, this little guy, this pathetic small excuse of a freshman in fucking college who hangs out with kids who aren't cool but seem cool and play hacky sack, and he tries to play hacky sack, but he's not good at it because look at him. Of course, he's not actually good at hacky sack. Trying to fit in. He starts speaking, and immediately you get that feeling of, uh-oh, this was the right call, but oh boy, this is a mistake, and this is gonna be some rough waters because he said some good lines, delivered terribly. He mentioned the wildfires in Canada. You know, you got to do it. Yeah,
nobody heard
no reaction to that. The worst delivery ever. If Christian said that fucking line, you best believe you're not hearing the next 5 things he's saying because people are booing over him. If you're going to take a real world tragedy and put it in your fucking promo, you better get your fucking pop from it. Like, come on. Also, where is Max Caster with this goddamn submarine reference? Holy shit. How long do we have to wait, bro? Like, come on, man. The bodies are fucking decaying here. We need this reference.
The bodies exploded and are probably fish food. Wow.
There we go. Full circle. The circle of life, right? In a way, there you go. We came from the earth. We go back into the earth, I guess. I don't know. But, you know, how are you going to mention the wildfires to no reaction? Like, it's a fucked up thing. and you don't even get the heat for it. So like it's just a pointless fucked up thing you said to no reaction, which is, by the way, how you should actually treat people who say fucked up shit, right? Just don't react to them, and then it's like they get mad
into the void.
Yeah, you say someone's trying to quote unquote trigger you, which is a word that I think has been ruined by people, but like someone's trying to trigger you, just no sell it, and then they'll get more mad. There's nothing you can say that will upset them more than no selling it, and that's what Jungle Boy accidentally did, or the crowd accidentally did to Jungle Boy because his delivery was so fucking poor. He says, "Oh, your title means nothing. You have the nerve to flaunt that in front of me after I got screwed out of 2 world titles," which would have taken way more seriously if he had a better match with Sonata and didn't look like a fucking joke against him. That shit was dumb, bro. That match was not good. All jokes aside, Jungle Boy is good in the ring, so there's no reason that match couldn't have been way better. But, he's out here. It was disappointing. And I had low expectations for it. But this guy had a faction. This faction was so popular. He was tag teaming with the Dinosaur. They had a little small friend that was just running around like, "Hey, look at me. I'm a little guy. Like, cheer for me." And they were over. They were on top of the world. And he couldn't handle sharing the spotlight. This egomaniac little kid. He's a little Nepo baby. And he's like, I don't need these people. I don't need this little brother and this big brother weighing me down. He has classic middle child syndrome. And they got rid of Marco, right? Everyone blamed Christian, but it turns out it was Jungle Boy all along. And then all of a sudden, he turns on Christian, because that's what happened. He turned on Christian. He forced Christian's hand. He was an ungrateful piece of shit. And who was right all along? Christian was right all along. Okay, he knew from day one that this guy had a little piece of shit in him, and he was going to bring it out for his own benefit, because as much as Jungle Boy sucks, this is all for his own good. Christian's playing the long con. Christian's still trying to get this guy over and make him a star, and he's doing it from a distance. He's still a puppet master pulling these mental strings in Jungle Boy's small little head, small little brain. His head's not that small, but he's ungrateful for that. He buries poor Christian alive, poor innocent. He buries his second father for no good reason that time, and he betrays his best friend. And what happens? He's like, I don't need those losers. I'm going to win a title. No, his best friend won a title, which there you go. Ex facto, Christian has won a title. So they both won a title before him. So he's just been wrong in every way, and Christian has been right. And here we are now because of it. It is simultaneously the right move to turn him heel, but it's also terrible because he's not. He might do a great job, but he's I'm young. I'm in great shape. I'm banging the hottest bitch in this place. And then he took off his glasses, waited way too long to wink into the camera.
Yeah.
And I was like, you are so lame, and not in a heel way, just in a, God, you're a loser. I wish he was part of our friend group and I would just bully the shit out of him in a friendly way. Here we go, James. It was not great, bro. I saw the match. It was not great. It was a run-of-the-mill fine. It was fine at best. That's the most you can say about it. It was fine.
I liked it. I liked it for the reason James is saying, but I did agree with you when you said that it could have been better.
Yeah, it was great is a strong word that makes it discredits your other opinions, James. So maybe just look, James, sidebar real quick, James. I know you're not on the Zoom right now or on the stream right now, but look, when you use hyperbolic words like great when talking about a fucking at best 2-star match between Sonata and Jungle Boy, you're really discrediting yourself there, and it's going to make people struggle to take your opinions more seriously in the future. Just a quick heads up, buddy. Okay, this is coming from a place of care. It's coming from a place of not love, but maybe indifference. So please just, keep that in mind going forward. Try not to use great when talking about a fucking Jungle Boy match until it's appropriate, probably 5 years from now when he figures it out. Okay. But Taz was great. And that's one thing. The best part of the Jungle Boy heel turn was Taz on commentary. I know.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you guys said that. I was watching the
audible holy
Yeah.
shit and
it was so
him
good.
leaving.
Him censoring himself, but not really censoring himself. So good. But he even said the old big money. Yeah, look, I'm on board for this. I'm gonna shit on it every step along the way, but like in a I'll play along sort of way. You know, hey, maybe you can be the next. And it's so weird that I'm about to say this, but maybe Jungle Boy, you can be the next Dominic Mysterio. I know it's good to aim high. You know, go for that. You know, we're gonna do predictions for Money in the Bank, but do you give Dom any chance of beating Cody on Saturday?
You know, does Rhea have a match?
No.
Ooh, maybe if Rhea gets involved, maybe
Maybe
15% tops.
Yeah.
Chance.
So, but yeah, I'm on board for the ride, but I'm gonna have fun. That maybe not based on what he does, but I'm gonna find a way to have fun with it. So do you want to add on to that, or do you want to just move on to the next thing?
I do have a couple of thoughts. I did kind of like Jungle Boy saying that, you know, because AEW doesn't recognize the FTW title, that he doesn't recognize it, which makes Hook a fraud in his eyes. I like that. I did like the fact that he said he's going to take it anyway because, you know, he knows how much it means to Hook and his family, and that's when he stared down Taz. So I was liking the shit he was talking. Like you said, though, just the way he was talking it was very good. Yeah, and as far as I know, this is his first heel promo. I don't know if he ever was a heel on the Indies in any capacity. So I'm willing to give him a chance to kind of try to find his voice. Because you're right, like he had some really good lines. The one about Anna Jay was great.
I disagree. I thought that line was really corny, and he delivered it even worse. But like the other lines were good. Like on paper, this was a good promo, but
yeah,
you know, just imagine Christian saying these things and how great it would be. You know, that's the way you got to look at it.
Hilariously, I like the way he phrased it, but he did just hit in the beginning all of the classic heel turn notes, right? Like you said, he insulted the crowd, he insulted Canada, he gassed himself up by saying he's young and he's cashing checks and he's dating a hot girl. Like he hit basic notes. It's like the easy, I just turned heel, promo starter pack. So I'm hoping as, he leans into this, gets more experience being a heel, talking shit, he finds his voice and is able to turn this around. Because if he's like this as both face and heel, I mean, it's got a point here. Like, just get him a damn mouthpiece. So,
he had a mouthpiece, and he is the best promo in the fucking company. It's Christian. But I will say, in all seriousness, one of the good things about this is Hook's motivation. I'm not Hook's motivation. I'm sorry, Jungle Boy's motivation against Hook, which is basically fuck you and your dad. Which, doesn't that sound familiar? Doesn't that sound like an idea that's been planted into fucking Jungle Boy's head over and over and over again? He is they're going to reunite this group as heels, and it's going to be fucking hilarious. And I'm still going to be vindicated and still going to be right. But like, I just think it's funny, like, because now that's even more motivation for Christian to be like, look at that. I was right all along. Like Christian, literally, how is he wrong now? Like, he's wrong in the sense that he's a dick who did dick things, but now he is, abused someone into also thinking like a heel and, hating other dads the way Christian hates people's dead dads, So it's actually really good storytelling. Jungle Boy's a bad storyteller himself right now. And again, Jungle Boy, take a fucking joke, bro. Come be on our podcast and talk it out with us. I'll teach you a thing or two as I podcast from my bedroom and you work on a television show. But, TV's easy, bro. It's all about being funny on the internet. You got nothing on that. But yeah, what did James say? He needs to grow a beard. Sure. I mean, you have a beard, James. Does that make you a heel? Like, that's What does that mean? But it's got a great point. Guys with
Yep.
beards do get over, and
Can confirm.
yeah. Does anyone on our pod not have a beard? What's Chad look like right now? I don't even know. Is Chad on the pod?
Sometimes I think he'll be on later tonight when we do the prediction show. So,
Later tomorrow when we do the prediction
yes.
show.
Well, we record tonight. It'll be out sometime later this week.
We
But
record tomorrow. It'll be out sometime this week.
we'll see. I don't know when we're recording. We'll figure that out later. But let's move on. We could spend all day on this. Actually, I don't want to move on because Hook coming out at the end of this and chasing Jungle Boy around was great. And then because that head first dive into the car and having the car speed away was fantastic slapstick comedy.
Yeah, that was good. Fucking Hook knocking over the garbage can. That poor stupid guard in the way, just catching that stray garbage can lid to the leg.
Yeah, that was funny. And Jungle Boy, great fucking parkour leap over the barricade. He fucking hightailed it out of there.
Hook too. Hook got some fucking height on his.
Yeah, they both did. There's some agile, athletic kids.
Yeah.
They can go. All right, after this, we had another match, which was Ruby Soho against Alexia Nicole. She was a local talent. Unfortunately, the match was supposed to be Ruby Soho versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, in the first round of the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. But Britt got sick. I guess she got whatever Adam Cole had during Forbidden Door, which caused him to miss it. So Hook does kind of look like a child. So
I think he meant Jungle Boy.
No Dr. Britt Baker tonight. So we had this matchup. It was very quick, obviously, it was a squash match. But Ruby did end up winning with the lockjaw, which was a very nice touch. And then she grabbed the mic. She blamed Canada for being dirty and nasty and getting Britt sick. She then goes on to say that despite how hard Britt works, she doesn't have anything because the Outcasts have collectively taken everything from her fans to the AEW Women's Championship, taking that all for her skank friend. Ruby then says that after she denies Britt becoming the two-time Owen Hart Foundation tournament winner, Britt will have absolutely nothing left. Ruby she also said some stuff about when they first met, she didn't know who she was, and that now she's very, not only comfortable, very happy with who she is, since joining the Outcast. So I thought this was a very good save on this segment, considering they probably did it very last minute. And I feel like we haven't really heard Ruby talk in a while since Tony's gotten the title. So it's nice to hear her speak again and, give some, more character background and motivation to what they're doing.
I really, really want Ruby to win this match.
Yes.
It
makes so much sense.
I love Britt. She's one of my favorites. I don't want to turn on her. I think this is a great way to stop people from turning on her. Just have Ruby win. Let her get a fucking win over Britt. After all this time. You had Britt win the Owen last year when you could have had Ruby get her revenge in the tournament. Just let her win this time. Go for the shock factor. Have her eliminated first round. But build up the Outcast even more. They've been doing a really good job. They do feel like how they should have felt when they first formed. They got the title now. Tony feels rejuvenated. Ruby has felt rejuvenated when she first turned. Saraya feels saved. From those fucking women haters that aren't here with us today, luckily. But, just give Ruby the win. She has earned it. Build the Outcasts up for Jamie to make an even bigger, heroic, triumphant return for All In. Just,
yeah.
Just do that. Ruby's got to win. That's it. My flag is planted in the sand, on the moon, wherever. Give Ruby the win.
I'm here for the Outcasts kind of running roughshod over the women's division. I mean, they already kind of do, but crank it up and let them just start kicking everybody's ass until you get Jamie and Britt coming back and triumphantly defeating them at All In. I'm here for that. As for Alexia Nicole, that would be the Canadian girl. I thought, she did well. She acquitted herself well. She wasn't given much to do in this match, but I mean, she looked fine. I don't really have much to comment on her for because unfortunately she got absolutely dominated in this match. So.
Oh, he just brought it up because he's crushing on her, you know.
Oh, fair.
Which is you know. But I mean, by all means, you know, I guess sign her. I think they could always use more women in ROH. I guess.
I mean, hey, yeah. I don't know if she had a match on Rampage or a dark match before the show, or and if she did, A, she pulled double duty today. Great for her. And B, yeah, if they like her, who knows? She could get signed. You never know. You never know. All right, let's move on. We had a quick backstage promo from Johnny TV and QT Marshall after their interaction with Anthony Bowens the other week, where whoever the woman is with QTV, and I unfortunately do not know her name. I always forget it. She tried to insinuate that Bowens was into her, and Bowens was like, lady, I'm gay, which not only got a thunderous applause, but a he's gay chant in a positive way, and it was fantastic. So anyway, like I was saying, I mentioned this earlier in the chat, but John Morrison, who is now going by Johnny TV, has joined up with QTV.
100%, James. One of your best takes, for sure.
Yes, Johnny TV has joined up with QTV, and they're rolling together. And Harley Cameron, thank you. I don't know who they were facing next week. Honestly, this happened so quick, I barely even caught it. But they were on TV, so there you go. All right, then Excalibur did his rundown in his usual mile-a-minute fashion. And then we came to our main event, which saw Sting and Darby Allin go against Sammy Guevara and the Painmaker, Chris Jericho. Jericho bringing the Painmaker moniker back for this Texas Tornado match, which was good. I enjoyed it. I still don't know how Sting does any of the shit he does at 64, 63, 64.
Which, while you brought that up, let's quick sidebar, Sting. You don't have to do this, man. I don't want to see you jump off a ladder that's inside the ring to two tables on the outside. You were obviously never going to reach that second table, bud.
Way too far out.
Like, come on, man. You don't got to do that. Like a lot of the other stunts you've done are a lot more reasonable. This was the one that was too far. That being said, it was fucking awesome. And him climbing up the ladder and telling Darby, like, no, I got this. Like, that was fucking badass. I didn't want to see him jump, but like the moment was so fucking cool. And this is why it happens, because I'm like, oh, I don't think this is a good idea. But then he does it. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. You know? So I am part of the problem, but like, if you stop Sting, no one would be mad at you. But also, this is awesome.
Yeah, I saw somebody on Reddit going like, I don't know how many of these things has left of them, so maybe he's just probably like, I'm just gonna do a few more crazy ones and then be done. But we'll see. This match was great. Not only was that spot amazing, but it started with Sting and Jericho like dueling with their bats, which I thought was great. Sting got the upper hand, obviously, because he's been wielding the bat a lot longer. But then Sammy came in and turned everything around. Later, we had that table spot, and like you said, it was great. I loved Sting going up there and telling Darby, like, no, this is mine. Darby's like, you sure, dude? Sting gives him the head nod, and so I was like, all right, I'll just hold the ladder then. Sting fucked his face up on that.
Yeah, I really thought he lost a tooth or something, the way he grabbed his mouth after. He was like,
yeah, I think
for a while.
I think his mouth probably went into his teeth and probably, bloodied his lip really bad.
I didn't even notice if he caught Sammy in the crotch. I just thought all I saw was like his face go right over like Sammy's knee, and I'm like, oh my God. I was like, he's either table. Yeah, that's what it looked like. They showed the above view, and I'm like, oh, it looks like he hit his knee. So he probably did it Sammy's crotch, but I was so focused on Sting's face that I was just like, dude, why is this guy holding his mouth? I really thought I didn't think he was going to come back for a little bit. I was like, is this match going to go off the fucking rails now after this?
Yeah, it was. No, Sammy obviously never did, as you know. But I think that was part of the story.
Yeah, that's how you write someone out of a match. Like that's the spot you do it in.
Yeah, but back in the ring, Darby hit a tope on the Jericho, threw him back in, and then hit the ollie off the top rope with the skateboard onto Jericho's back.
Love it.
Jericho was able to kick out, and then he used the ladder to regain the advantage over Darby. Darby was unable to avoid a shot from Jericho, and Jericho went into the ladder himself, and he climbed the top rope to go for the James is in the chat. He's got some stuff going on. He didn't tell us what. I just know he's not here tonight. I don't think he's here next week.
He
see.
doesn't care about the fans, man.
Oh, so hi, Kevin.
He didn't want to be here, and he's not here. And he clearly could have been here. He just chose not to be here, so he's not here. Sorry, Rev, what were you saying?
Yes, Darby went up for the coffin drop after Jericho hit the ladder, but Jericho was able to grab the skateboard and use it as anti-air to take Darby out. Sting then comes into the ring and he sneaks up on Jericho and goes for the Scorpion Death Drop, but Jericho is able to counter that and get Sting into the walls. Sting starts crawling seemingly for the ropes, but he actually ends up crawling for Floyd, Jericho's bat. He turns around, hits Jericho in the head with it, and busts Jericho open. A lot of fucking blood today.
Real quick, as a poignant comment, James is the new MJF, which is very true because James loves Long Island. So that is a very, very apt statement there. You know it. After fans, yeah, that's his mindset. If he ever does show up, he's probably gonna have a.
Apparently, we're not as good as Harrison Ford.
Are you freaking kidding me?
Fans are not as important to James as Harrison Ford.
Oh my god,
there you
bro.
Go. So, yeah, Jericho's bloodied. Sting gets him in the corner, hits a Stinger splash, but then Sting gets caught with a code breaker when he goes for a second one, and he's able to kick out of that. Jericho then goes for Judas effect. Sting ducks it, hits a Scorpion Death Drop, and somehow Jericho kicked out of it. Now, on commentary, they were acting like that was the first time anyone has ever kicked out of the Scorpion Death Drop. I mean, it would make sense if that was the first time that happened in AEW.
I'm pretty sure it is, and that's just what they were doing, but they didn't know how to say that or didn't want to say that.
Yeah, that seems to make sense because I don't think there's any way no one has ever kicked out of a Scorpion Death Drop. I'm like 80% certain Triple H kicked out of one, although don't quote me on that. I haven't watched that match back since it happened.
Fuck that match. Fuck Triple H, man. Anytime you praise Triple H, I just think about, not you specifically, generic you. I just think about that fucking match, man. Fuck Triple H. Fuck DX. Fuck everyone in that group but X-Pac. Like, the fuck.
And Daddy S.
Yeah, obviously. Well, yeah. Well, he wasn't there. Was he? He wasn't there, right? Was he? I don't remember.
Well, he was in. Yeah, he showed up in that.
I was at a concert during that WrestleMania.
I know it wasn't the best match, but I have fond memories of it because I was A, hammered, and B, a bunch of my friends were watching, and they hadn't watched in such a long time. So then just seeing 90s people come out that they knew, we were all like yelling and raving. I understand it's not a good match, but
Kevin asked if the new Indiana Jones was any good. I think we could both say
game.
No, it wasn't. It was pretty bad, obviously.
I still don't know why they had to make a fourth one, but whatever.
Why did they have to make another Mission Impossible? Why did they have?
Dude, come on. These Mission Impossibles have been great. Everything since, there isn't a bad Mission Impossible.
I disagree. I mean, I've never seen any of them, but I disagree.
No. I don't love to, but all right. Anyway, the match ended after Jericho kicked out of the Scorpion Death Drop, but then Sting just put him immediately into a Scorpion Death Lock, and Jericho is forced to tap out. The first time the Painmaker has lost in AEW. Danny, this match was a bit of a car wreck, but a fun one. Obviously, Sting doing crazy shit as, a man who's about to go on Social Security is fucking insane. And I like this, but I'm going to go back to what we were talking about earlier with Sammy and Jericho's breakup. I really thought Sammy was going to lose here, cost Jericho, his undefeated in AEW streak as the Painmaker, and then that would lead towards Jericho turning on Sammy.
So real quick, I was going to congratulate you on making it through the whole episode without throwing to James because, that's your go-to move on this show. But it slipped out a little bit there.
I read his name in the chat.
I know what happened. I'm just saying you almost to the very end, you had it up until the very end. And also, I guess answer Kevin's question real quick. Jungle Boy did not cut his hair yet, but that's probably coming. He cut off the music early, so we know we're going to get new music soon. But
he just put it up in a bun, and I feel like he's got to do something else with it. Whether he cuts it or he like slicks it back wet like Seth Rollins style, he's got to change it up.
yeah, I'm sure he will. That's 100% coming in. He's just got to figure out what that is. But if James says it was good, I guarantee it was like mediocre then.
Yeah, you're not gonna like it. I'll like it, and James, yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, I'm not gonna watch it. What the fuck do I care? So like,
I'll watch it.
you know, I just don't believe him is my main thing. But this match was fun. It didn't have to main event. I mean, there was no main event of the show. The show was kind of like weird, all over the place. But
it's very consistent. Like it was very level. I thought.
Or you know what? The best parts of the show wasn't the wrestling, which is weird for AEW. And I think that's what throws it off this episode. But this match was a lot of fun. Sting doing his thing. It's almost like they wanted to do this at the pay-per-view, but there wasn't enough time. So that this was just giving them the extra time. Like, hey, you're not going to get to do as much as you want at the pay-per-view, but you can have the main event at Dynamite. The Painmaker is dumb. Like, and commentary knows it's dumb because they kept saying Jericho. Oh, I mean Painmaker. Like they were like, this is stupid. Why do I have to call him Painmaker? Like
he's the Painmaker, Chris Jericho. Like it's literally on his cryon. I don't understand why they couldn't just call him Jericho.
Yeah, it's silly, but he likes it. But it's silly. But yeah, I wish there was more of the Darby Sammy dynamic. I thought this match was gonna end with like Darby and Sammy like just having a moment where they stare at each other and Darby's just kind of, you know, with his facial expression is just like, come on, dude, is this really what you want? And for Sammy to be hesitant and that causes Jericho to get mad and be like, what are you doing? And then that Sting, you know, takes advantage or whatever and gets the win. But that's not what happened. Instead, he just tapped out, which is cool that he didn't beat Sting, which I wasn't really worried about. But like, you know, if Sting's first loss in AEW was to Jericho, I'd be done with Jericho. But yeah, it was a fun main event. Sting's a fucking madman. Darby's a terrible influence. Yeah, I guess that was a fun way to wrap up the show.
Look who decided to show his face.
Oh my god, now we're gonna be here till fucking midnight.
That's 4 hours.
Wait, what happened, Nick?
I said that. What's good, James?
Well, I know how much you just wanted to send it to me. I know how much like you were resisting saying my name. Apparently, I heard Danny saying. I
barely said a J-O.
Well, you know, like he always throws to you. Like, you know, that's if you count every episode, like if he's throwing, like if there's 12 segments on Dynamite, he's throwing to you first on 8 of those segments. You know, at best 7 of those segments.
Try to balance them out.
Yeah, and it's just always more James. Like I count in my head all the time because it's funny. You always throw to James first, especially if producer boy's there. But
I should never throw it in.
Yeah, I know, but like you know, it's still just somehow it could be me, producer boy, and James. It's still James first. So James, you didn't see this show, did you?
Not a single second.
What did you think about it then?
Loved it.
Loved it. Strong. Did you hear the sidebar I had with you while you were just in the comments?
No greats. No greats if it doesn't deserve it.
But it's just hyperbolic, you know, statements, you know?
I stand by the fact that I think that match told a great story, if not the match itself being great. That's fair. But I think the story itself was great about Sonata not taking him seriously, Jungle Boy being too sure of himself, and then Sonata just being right, not needing to take him seriously. I think that was very good. But tonight, fantastic wrestling, fantastic segments. Loved Kenny being there. I'm assuming because why wouldn't Kenny be there, right, guys? Right? Kenny was there this week, right?
He was there.
Showed him. He was on the screen.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, he wrestled.
They had a post match promo from him and Will, like a video package.
Okay.
He wrestled the dark match.
He wrestled the dark match?
Yeah.
Probably not. I like the promo package.
He lost to Peter Avalon in the dark match.
Pretty Peter Avalon.
He was selling his injuries from the pay-per-view.
I just want it known that I love you guys, and even on days that I can't be here, I'm going to try to be here just for you guys. Just for you guys.
That would mean a lot more if if it wasn't for the fact that you weren't here because you went to go see Indiana Jones in 2023.
They make him. I'm watching him. It's Harrison Ford. The man is a national treasure. If Nick Cage could find him, he would.
If he was a national treasure, then Nick Cage would find him.
Hi, Wendy.
That's her.
Yeah,
That's her.
I kind of completely lost my train of thought with James joining here.
That's fantastic. So,
Danny, I think I agree with what you were saying at the end there.
That the Painmaker is stupid.
Oh, well, not necessarily that. I was more with the Sammy and Jericho stuff. I was far more expecting more storytelling in that regard to come out of this. I guess it's going to come next week. I can see Jericho blaming Sammy for not being there, even though, you know, he got taken out on the table by a geriatric person. So,
yeah, you don't see Jericho making fucking jumps like that off a ladder anymore. Coward.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, he does do that suplex to the outside sometimes off the apron, but I mean, yeah,
So,
he hasn't jumped off a ladder in a while.
Jericho, like the common Reddit user, needs to be addressed as it doesn't matter who's being landed on or who's jumping from a high point. I saw somebody on Reddit say Bryan Danielson needs to recognize he can't. No, I'm in my Hollywood rock era. All right. Dwayne Johnson is about to get on the guitar. But
that happened. Heel James would be so much fun,
right? It's bizarro. I shave.
They are in Canada.
I shave specifically only the mustache. I have the rest of the beard there, just looking like Abe Lincoln. But somebody on Reddit was like, Bryan needs to know when to hang it up. Clearly, he can't go anymore. He needs to understand that his body just can't take it. It's like a 200+ pound man just jumped on him. Right on the arm. Anybody would have broken their arm there. It's not a Bryan thing. Same thing here. Jericho, if you get mad at Sammy for being down because somebody jumped through a table and it happened to be Sting, you're wrong. Granted, he's Canadian, but he's wrong.
Oh, you know what, James? While you're here, how awesome is it that Bryan fucking won? Like,
amazing.
Just the fucking best. Kevin, I don't know if you're still here in the chat, but Kevin can vouch. I jumped out of my seat when he won. I was so fucking hyped. Like,
it was my biggest regret about you not being on the pod that night. I needed, like, Nick and I brought the energy, but I needed you to complete the trifecta of just utter enlightenment, utter, like, I reached nirvana on that, and it was fantastic. Like, when it happened, I went like that, like my mouth, like I covered my mouth, like I was so caught off guard.
You called me.
I did because I didn't know I couldn't comprehend what I was watching. I thought like maybe it was a botch, maybe something happened. And granted, there was a botch, a broken arm, but nope, Bryan was supposed to win and it was beautiful. Bryan could lose everything else now. I don't want him to, but he could, and it would still be the greatest accomplishment. He is the best. He is the GOAT. Both in the WWE sense of how they joked about how he looked and the fact that he is the greatest of all time.
Absolutely. 100% fucking beautiful. I don't care, Rev. You were on drugs, bro. I don't care that he broke his arm. That finish felt fucking perfect to me.
I loved it. I loved it.
I liked it. I just wanted 10 more minutes. Granted, I understand why they couldn't go 10 more minutes. I just wanted 10 more minutes.
Like,
it was fucking beautiful. You know what? I mean, if you guys want, we can just redo it right now. We can refilm it, you know, and just take it all from the beginning.
Hold on, let me get Dragoon ready. But even from a kayfabe standpoint, like even if we didn't know that Bryan's arm was broken, and I just think in kayfabe, Bryan's arm is hurt because he was selling, like it looked like it was hurt in the match.
Yeah, he couldn't do
like just the idea that okay, I can't use my arm, but I'm going to use my leg to make him tap out. That was friggin' awesome. Like Okada didn't know what to do. He never had a leg used for a label lock before. How do you counter that? How do you know how to deal with that? You don't. You tap out. It was great.
It was great, bro. I don't blame you, bro. Like fucking Star Wars is fucking cringe, bro.
I'm not gonna get involved.
You know you like Star Wars. You know you do.
Who, me?
Him.
No, yeah, I do. I'm just not.
Kylo Ren right there in the background.
Yeah, I know. I'm not gonna start talking about it on the wrestling podcast
Oh
because
my God.
we're done. This is the end of the show.
Oh man, I thought we were starting from the top, but all right, whatever. But yeah, fucking sick. I mean, look, man, if I got back from Kevin's house sooner, maybe, but I walked home, so it took a little bit. But I was literally walking, listening to you guys talk about it. I was listening all the way up until I fell asleep, which I couldn't tell you exactly where it was, but I definitely made it at least 30 minutes into the show.
I'll take that. That's a win.
I'm going to say this. He's not here right now, and I'll probably never hear this, but Dragoon did not look like what I thought he would look like. And I'm not saying if that's an insult or a compliment. I am just saying that.
He used to be bald.
Yeah, that's what the first time I met him. I think he was. I don't know if he was completely bald, but he definitely had it like completely bald.
So you got hair transplant?
No, he just wanted to be bald.
Yeah, you know what? I moved and I got my furniture back.
I mean, I don't see any furniture. I just see the toy in the back.
I see a TV.
You got the TV and stuff, and
it's kind of blocked by your name bar.
Yeah, the stand is blocked by the bar.
Oh.
Yeah, you have a window. That's pretty cool.
Mine's crooked. It's backwards on my screen.
Is a window furniture?
No,
Bravo.
But I do have window, and I have more stuff I got to put back there. I just haven't finished unpacking it yet, but we'll get around to that. All right, let's try to wrap things up here. Danny, what were your overall thoughts on Dynamite? I thought this was a very good show. Like you said, it was a little more promo heavy than match heavy, but I thought everything was pretty good.
I don't know if it was promo heavy per se. I just think the promos far outshined the matches for once. But the show was fucking boring. Besides all the things I really, really liked about it, which I know sounds like I'm joking, but that's kind of the truth. Like the MJF Cole stuff, fantastic. Watch it. Hilarious. Easy watch. Jungle Boy being fucking terrible. Really tough watch, but if you can, watch it. Enjoy it. Enjoy how right I was about Jungle Boy all along. James, did you hear that rant that I went on about Jungle? Yeah, you were here for that.
I did.
You were there.
I was going to say, if not, go back and watch it.
Yeah. Okay, so I definitely probably have fallen asleep. What did you guys say about it on the review? You guys were all for it, right? I assume.
Yeah. Oh, I literally put we were right about Jungle Boy on the bottom.
Nice.
I should have put Danny was right about Jungle Boy on the bottom.
I mean, we were all right. I'm just the pioneer behind this. I'm just the trailblazer who saw way back when the future that we are now currently living in, where this little bitch was going to be heel.
I was definitely the Jey Uso of the pod. Like I had to be broken down into it. But once my spirit was crushed, I was happy to be a good soldier on the fuck Jungle Boy train.
Yep. Christian was always right. But yeah. Shit. What else? What?
Danny, would you all right, do you or do you not agree with this? Or do you think this is a good idea? Do you or do you not think this is a good idea? Jungle Boy would be a good fit with Bullet Club Gold.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a good fit with Christian and Luchasaurus, and I think he would be actually a good fit with Christian and Luchasaurus.
Sounds familiar.
No, because when you're in a group with the Guns and you're worse than them, I don't see how you're ever going to succeed.
So I do need to address this because I'm drawing a line in the sand with the Guns. They've gotten a lot better.
Oh no, they absolutely have.
They were terrible, but they are really good now. I think they're
one of them's really good. The other one's fine.
I'll take that because they both used to be terrible. So fine and really good, that's an upgrade.
But like still, like they are not bad. The truth is they've never really been that bad. They've just putting the tag titles on them was always the wrong choice. You take a white hot act and you put it on a nothing act, and you're doing that with the idea that it'll get them over as heels and get them heat. But what happened was they weren't over. They got nothing reactions. No one wanted to see them. It's just they were just miscast. They were just put in a bad spot. But like they've never actually been terrible because their feud with FTR was actually pretty good. And their match with FTR, where the good Gun was fucking on his knees begging Dax to fucking hit him and get DQ'd. You know, it was like really, really good. But like when you're in a group with them and they're better than you, that's a bad look on you. That's a bad look. That's not like a, oh, don't worry, you're being outshined by them. That's like they are like the lower part of the totem pole, because Jay is the quote unquote star, according to Eric, who's on depressing downer drugs. And Juice is the fucking absolute best, one of the best human beings on the planet. I've decided. I don't know anything about him, but like, he's just so funny. You know, that I just think he's great. Putting Jungle Boy in that group would just point out how bad his timing is. He doesn't have the chops, the comedic timing, or anything.
But isn't the idea, like you brought him up before as like maybe he could be like the next Dom. Dom sucked until they figured out a way to make it work, and now he's like the best thing about everything.
Yeah, I just don't know if Bullet Club Gold is the way to make him work.
I just feel like being under the learning tree of like the smarmiest pricks in like wrestling is like such a good move for him. Like I put him in a leather jacket, have him like grow a beard, be like the rest of them, and I think he's just gonna thrive. But all right, yeah, I guess it could shine a light on his faults even more.
Put him with MJF. MJF also told him that it was a good idea to turn heel. It's like all these people are so much smarter than Jungle Boy, and he's like, no. And now he's doing it on its own, and we're all gonna be like, you're a dumbass still.
What is this in reference to?
50 Cent?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wish death upon me.
Because the guns came out to that once.
The one time I didn't see it too. Like I did not see that entrance, and I keep hearing how good it is. And on principle, I'm just not going back to watch it.
It was fine.
It's their current like entrance with the lighting and everything. That's the first time they used it.
With the music.
They just used the 50 Cent song. It was fucking sick.
But yeah, follow us on social media, right? I assume.
Yeah.
All right, let James do the outro. Let's see how he does. Give him a shot.
Well, I was just gonna say, sorry to cut you off, James. Just for Dynamite, I enjoyed it. I thought the show was actually pretty level in terms of everything that happened. You, Danny, thought there was a lot of highs and a lot of lows, and I thought everything was pretty good. And I know that usually happens because I'm very positive about most things. But honestly, there wasn't anything I like hated on the show. I was a little confused by the end of the tornado tag with just the way everything went down in terms of Jericho losing, like I mentioned before. But I don't want to say I loved the show, but I really liked it, and I loved certain parts of it. We'll see what happens with Jungle Boy, though. All right, James, you want to take a shot at the outro?
Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us here at the Mark It Down podcast. If you liked what you saw, please leave a like on the video. We appreciate it. It helps other people get to see us and like us as well. If you like us and you want to keep listening to us, give us a subscribe. We need those numbers. We're desperate. We don't have anything else going on in our lives. This is really it for like a lot of us, you know. I don't know who I am without this podcast. Like, I'm a loving partner. I have multiple pets. I own land on the moon, but the podcast is really my defining thing. So please give me a reason to keep on living. Give us all a reason to keep on living. And
I don't want to interrupt your outro, but Sting definitely is going to lose a tooth from this. Also, I thought you were most known for being on Made.
Even on the moon, I'm known for being on Made. But that pales in comparison to what I'm accomplishing and what we're all accomplishing with this podcast. So thank you guys for watching. Like they said, we have social media. Go look us up. We're on Facebook. It's cool. Check us out. Look us down, apparently. It's not look us up. Look us down because it's all down there. It's all down there in the description.
Mark us down, you mean?
Mark us down. Mark it down. That's how you got there. I never got our name before. It's great.
Be honest, I lifted our name from Little Karibo when he used to review Monday Night Raw. He called it the Mark Remark, and I just wanted to steal that name and not have you guys know that.
Let's delete this because if we ever make it big, I don't want to get sued. So Nick, edit it out. But everybody,
edit the live thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Producer boy, edit this out. Okay.
So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You're watching us on YouTube. Maybe you're even watching us on Twitter or Facebook. I don't know. But check us out on TikTok too. We also have Foursquare. I think that's social media. LinkedIn is kind of a thing. We're not there. So don't look for us there. But thank you guys. What?
Parlor? Are we there?
No.
I mean, maybe Eric is, but beyond that, that's Nick. That's Skibbo. I'm James. Mark it down. See you maybe tomorrow on the Gym Pack Zone. I don't know yet.
Also, keep an eye out for our Money in the Bank predictions coming out later this week.
Maybe.
Have a good night, everyone.
Personally, I think